Hi guys, this is my Mercedes-Benz McLaren or SLR McLaren or McLaren SLR, new Bright. Don't know how old it is, and I've just recently been doing some video of trying to make a charger for it, or at least an adapter so I can plug that battery into my normal charger that I do all my lipos and lithium ion batteries, because it also does NiCad, which was a success. And then I found the original charger anyway, so I didn't need to do what I'd done. Anyway, today we took it for a run in the skate park and it was going very nice. The steering is very slow on response, which gave me quite a few problems. But apart from that minor point, it was going great. Right up until where I just about decided to finish. I did a rather spectacular jump. Not really in the big terms of bashing or whatever that people do, but this isn't a bashing car. Did a bit of a jump anyway. When it landed, I had no power. So something has come loose. If I switch it on, we have absolutely nothing. So something somewhere has come loose. I'll just do a very simple check and make sure it's not actually something inside the battery has come loose. My lead is broken, which is a bit of a pain. Which way is positive? Not that it makes any difference as far as measuring the voltage goes. So stick that on there, stick that on there. Oh yeah, still got 20 volts in there. Being as it's a 19.2 volt nickel cadmium battery, 20 volts means it's still well charged. So that part of it's okay. We will put that back in there so we can test it the other way up. Okay, so I love this. I very rarely run it. In fact, it hasn't been out of the house for years, I think. Oh, another little thing. I was looking at this. Obviously, I'd had to bend some paper clips for replacing these little R clips, I think they're called. And a while back, I printed some for the Land Rover. Was it the Land Rover? I don't remember. For one of the other cars that I've got. And they're bigger. But I did just notice they do fit. In fact, I don't need to push it on that far. It's only supposed to go that far. So that's a bonus. They will work. Although I might, now that I've seen them, I might print some, just scale it down and print some smaller ones. Let's just hold that so we can compare them clearly. Yeah. So that's the ones for here, and that's the ones for whatever car it was I printed them for. No, I don't remember what car it was. It wasn't the Land Rover, it's one of the other ones. Anyway. Leave that in there. Okay, what can we check? Being this is a new Bright, these ones you can actually lift that out and do it there and there to get to the. See, there's nothing loose there. Oh, you might see all the white stuff in the front there. I did have rather a nasty crash with it a long time ago in a skate park, a different skate park, and completely smashed up all the front end here. So I had to glue it all back together. super glue and baking powder. Sets like concrete. Right, we're off. I think we can get the receiver and that out this way round. The whole thing slides over. Doesn't seem to want to move, unless I've got to undo that screw as well. Don't think so. I'm sure that's supposed to slide out. Let's go close up so you can see what I'm talking about. I could always go and watch my old videos on it, but I'm sure that whole battery and receiver bit just slides out if you slide it across. Well, that doesn't seem to want to move that far. It's like there's something stopping it. Okay, so if that's not going to come out, oh, it just moved a bit more when I pushed it there. Still not quite far enough. That's it, that's come out now. Let's unplug these. Come on, you gotta come out. Be nice to me. Right. Are those ones going to come out? Those clips, that's got to release. Okay, looking good. Now are you going to drop out? It's coming. It's like there's something still holding it. There we go. Right. That was a lot of struggle to get in there. Now we've got that out. I think just those two screws to lift the lid off. Okay. Don't know what that is. I've got a fuse there. Put the battery back in and check whether we're getting voltage onto the board. What? 1.6 volts? That can't be right. Going to change that, aren't I? What's going on there? Something strange going on there. Turn it off again. Right, you can't see, can you? Got my hands in the way. Right, I've turned it off, and if we measure on the board with it turned off, then we're getting the 20 volts. If I turn it on, so obviously the board is now in circuit, and that's dropping it right down. So there's something on the board that's dragging the current right down, or the power right down. That's not good, is it? But then we don't know what output we should be looking at anyway with it connected to the board. I can't imagine it dropping 18 volts, so just plugging it in. I was hoping it was just going to be something simple, like solder tag had come loose on the battery feed. So, in through a fuse, along here, up to here, to the on-off switch. Let's change that for this one. Confuse things a little bit because they're both red. Right, that's our positive. That's our 20 volts. Swap these over so at least we get the reading in the right direction. Right, 20 volts. And as soon as we throw that switch, we drop away to 2 volts. Hang on, it's not doing it now. That's staying at 20 volts. What happened there? Okay. Off at the moment. On. Well, I've no idea what I've done there. It makes you think there's something loose on there somewhere. I've no idea what's happened there, guys. I'm sure somebody will tell me. My thought was there's a crack in the board somewhere. But that seems to be working now. Can we reach with that? Let's power that off again. Yeah, that's off. Steering back in place, back on. Well, absolutely no idea what's happened there, guys. So my thought is there's a crack in the board somewhere, but the only other thing is if there's some sort of thermal cutout or something that's reset. Well, I'm happy because it's not dead, but I'm confused because I've done nothing other than take it apart, wiggle it around a bit, and it seems to have fixed. I'm flexing the board there and it's still running. Right, complete loss, guys. No idea what went wrong. I'll put it back together and see if it still works when it's all back together. Very quickly, before I put the body shell back in place, I did have a question from somebody recently about the steering on his car. This is a different one. And I did mention that some cars, and this is a good example, the steering module has lots of wires going to it. Instead of just the 2 wires that you'd get on normal cheap toy grade, which just power the steering motor, this one's got these extra wires, and they go in there. There's a, how can I explain this? I'm not going to take it apart because I'll probably have to destroy all that glue that I glued it together with. But there's a disc with brass plates on it, and these wires detect how far the steering has gone, so it can actually drive the steering back to the centre point. Rather than just using a spring to bring it back to the middle, those wires actually drive the steering back to the middle. It's a little bit more complicated than the cheapest toy grade. So yeah, I just thought I'd mention that. So that's a good example of one of those types of steering with all the extra wires in there. Okay, let's put this back on. Up. Let's try a couple of my clips. I'll put these big ones on the back and the little ones on the front, because they're the originals. I haven't got so much aerial coming through. What have I done there? I've lost a little bit in tensioning it up. Right, that's better. It's only a matter of an inch or so that I'd trapped, but it's reaching the back better now. So I think for £4.95 in a charity shop I had a real bargain here. Right, see if it still works now we've screwed it all back together. That steering, it is so slow, it really caught me out when I was driving it today. Because So I try and do a little turn and nothing appeared to be happening, so you give it full lock and then you go spinning round. It's that bit, it's just so slow. So you end up giving it more than you need and you overcorrect. Anyway, looks like I fixed it by doing absolutely nothing to it other than taking it apart and putting it back together. Oh, that's duct tape on there. That was on there when I bought it, or actually that's a fresh piece, but there's a big hole in the bottom of the gearbox there where it's obviously been smashed at some time, so the previous owner had covered it with duct tape. And say that's a bit of fresh duct tape that I put on it. And it's a beautiful car, I love it. If you check the video description, you'll find the playlist for it, and you may even find the video where I smashed it really hard into the metalwork at a skate park and ruined it. And all of this was all smashed up, all the steering. And it's all just glued back together with super glue and baking powder. Thanks for watching. There's always more information down in the video description, and if you like this video you might like this one up here, and you might like to have a look at my channel over here, see what else I do. Thank you for watching.